All right, so this is Dr. Gina Tall with the Fourth Letter Radio right here in Detroit. And today we are hosting our next mayor, Mary Sheffield. Why don't everybody just kind of came through today. I have encouraged everyone that I know to make a choice. I made a choice some time ago, gotten to know some of the other candidates, but that first impression, hey, I went with Mary and here we are. One of the things that we're talking about today is the housing crisis. We don't have freezes on our rent. The rent has gone up. Has anyone checked on that? We're talking about, do you remember when rent was $750 in Detroit? Ooh, yeah, we were so proud about that.
Yes.
So now I am working with two dynamic organizations that have transitional homes. And what we thought with hosting with Mary Sheffield, we would be able to get up close and personal and find out what the next mayor is going to do about our housing crisis in Detroit. So welcome, Mary.
Yes, glad to be here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so good to have you.
Thank y'all for stepping up and being a part of the solution to solving the housing crisis in the city. We'll go right ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit. I know you wanted to share a little bit about your campaign, what you're doing in Detroit, kind of just.
Yeah, I'm excited to be running for mayor. I will say, as a city council member, the last 12 years, housing has been probably the signature issue that I've tried to take upon myself to try to address, whether it's creating the city's first ever inclusionary housing ordinance that mandates that as new housing developments come to Detroit, that a portion has to be set aside for low-income housing. I created the city's first ever housing trust fund that provides funding for the most vulnerable in our city. And then also a program called Right to Counsel that gives free legal counsel to tenants who are facing eviction. So we've been able to prevent thousands of residents from being evicted from their home through Right to Counsel. And shout out to Ted Phillips and UCAC, who does a phenomenal job at also representing some of those tenants. But overall, my whole vision has been just to build more affordable housing in a city that is conducive to the needs of our residents. So I think one of the other kind of issues that we have is, are we actually developing housing that meets the demographics and incomes of Detroiters? So while we're building affordable, quote unquote, affordable housing, is it really affordable for the income level of Detroit residents? And so that is why I've always tried to push that we reach the 50% and 30% AMI level versus 80% right now, because oftentimes that's a bit too high. The need is more around 30 and 50% AMI. So excited about the work that I've done as mayor. I am looking forward to focusing on, of course, building more affordable housing that actually meets the income of Detroiters, but also focusing more on home ownership. I don't think we spend enough time on providing paths to home ownership, transitioning renters into home owners, and raising the incomes of Detroiters in general, because we are going to always need affordable housing. But if we're also equally focusing on how are we creating upward mobility for the families and the residents who need this housing, I think we're doing this a disservice if we don't do that. So my focus will be to build more housing, to create more homeowners, but to also raise the incomes and upward mobility of the residents here in our city.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. So as mayor, some residents, and I'm now a Detroit resident,
we got to get you back. I have a problem. Come home, Detroit.
Yeah, we're coming home. Which is Rhonda Bird. She's going to speak in just a moment. She just got back from Florida and came home.
Yes, came home to Detroit. Yes, Detroit. And I just got back in February.
But a lot of the residents are thinking that downtown is good. Right, and the relationships and the building that happened down there, and the businesses and those relationships are good. But we're thinking it's our turn. You know,
it is.
With this new mayorship, it might be safe and low risk to go ahead and put some investment in the people who will come back to this community and taking over some of these older homes and taking responsibility and accountability. So would it be safe to say that it is our turn?
Yes.
Okay.
It is our turn. It is time. It is the neighborhood's turn.
The neighborhood's turn.
Yes. It is definitely. I feel like everyone can agree. And I would even say that the current mayor would agree that the next administration must focus on the neighborhoods even more. Everyone has their strong points, and I think Mayor Duggan had his role. He was operational. Wanted to make sure basic city services were functioning. He cleared blight, and I think now with the amount of blight elimination and vacancies that we see all throughout our neighborhoods, now the next mayor can focus on rebuilding. Downtown has been redeveloped. A significant amount of investment has went into that area, but now it's like, how do we build a city of families once again? Focus on redeveloping our commercial corridors in our neighborhoods, creating more homeowners, strengthening our educational system, reducing property taxes, getting strong block clubs and organizations so that people can move back into our city. And the only way we can grow our population, I believe, is when we start focusing back on our neighborhoods. Because people will come and hang out in downtown and midtown, and they'll come work. But when it's time to actually lay their heads and build families, they have to have strong, vibrant neighborhoods. So I'm excited about that being the next phase of Detroit.
It's our time.
It's our turn.
It's our turn. Rhonda, go ahead and
well, you kind of touched on the questions that I had already. One of my questions were you willing to work with models like the co-living model in the neighborhoods to start where we are? Because even though we're building, those buildings are going to take 1 to 2 years before they're complete. So before we can actually get some relief, we have homeowners like myself and others that are willing to get started now. We have our boots on the ground and we're ready to go. Are there, or do you see yourself with any programs that could help us to help the community?
Most definitely. I think we have currently CDBG funding, community development block grant funding, that comes through the federal government that oftentimes helps with transitional housing and supporting the homeless, things of that sort. That funding over the years has drastically been cut. I mean, every year I feel like it gets lower and lower. But that doesn't mean that there's not a way that we can continue to advocate for more funding, more grants, more support from the state, and even more city funding to support programs like yourself. So yes, I think there's a way that we can support you all from a technical standpoint, and funding standpoint, and zoning standpoint, and just doing business with the city in general, because sometimes it's not easy. So yes, I think this is a priority and a value of mine, and it was something that I would love to better support you guys doing. For sure.
That's good to hear.
That's wonderful.
How was it opening up this and getting it going with the city? Did you have any challenges?
It was stressful. I can't lie, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
What was it the city processes, kind of internally dealing with city government, or
city processes? And but it's better than I remember in the past, because I've rented homes in the past. It's just, again, the last 5 years I've been in Florida and wasn't doing any business here in the city. But yeah, coming back, it's a lot more smooth.
Good.
The right hand does know what the left hand is doing now. So that is improvement. But it's still tough. Other communities, it's just turning this, and it's very clean cut. And we still need a little tweaking, making things a little easier for us as business owners to be able to get through those processes.
And we just passed an ordinance called the pilot ordinance. It's payment in lieu of taxes, and essentially it streamlines and makes the process very easy for developers who want to provide affordable housing units, and they also give you a reduction in your property taxes as well. So it expedites the entire process, and that is what I will do. Continue to use tools of that sort that encourage the expedited process to make it so much easier, because we are in a housing crisis, and as much as we can provide good actors and developers who want to address that issue, we should do it in an expeditious way. So I would definitely encourage you to look into that pilot, though, because it is an incentive and a kind of a tax break for every unit you provide in affordability.
We just
passed that.
Yes,
a lot of developers are looking into it right now.
I'm gonna put it in my notes.
And we can help you with it.
Did you have a question?
I know Mary I know, Mary, you have covered a lot of different issues, but I do have a question. What steps in the city are you taking to expand access to transitional housing for vulnerable population like citizens, youth, age, and foster care, or survivors of domestic violence? Do you have any input on that?
Yeah, we usually do that again through our community development. All of our CDBG money that comes through the housing department, whether it's Home Dollar, CDBG, most of that goes to support transitional housing and shelters, domestic violence, etc. I do believe we need another domestic violence. We don't have one actually, I think, that's dedicated fully to domestic violence in Detroit, which I do believe we need. But yes, I think the city can be more of a partner in that regard through our housing services department, providing that support to help those entities. I'm a firm believer, though. I do believe in transitional housing and shelters and things of that sort, but I also believe that we need the wraparound services to come with those. We call it permanent supportive housing. Because oftentimes when you have people in transitional housing, they oftentimes need access to educational help, job training, mental health. And so I'm a firm believer in providing the permanent supportive model that provides the wraparound support as well. So the city, I believe, over the years has not invested as much in transitional housing as they did in the past because the priority has been more of permanent supportive housing. And we have David Bowser, who is like the czar of housing in Detroit, who I think really should speak on this, Dave, if you don't mind.
So
he's really great.
There is a capacity we were talking about earlier. There is a capacity. So the city now has the Housing Services Office, which Council President did help to fund. So there's a team of around 60 or 70 case managers that are helping folks transition from homelessness into housing, and that transitional housing component is much needed. So we need as many landlords, as many individuals and organizations as possible to provide those wraparound services and get folks from sort of kind of unhoused into permanent housing. And so there's opportunities to streamline that pathway, that pipeline. There's B-seed improvements that we need to make. There's expansions within internal programs that we should make as well. And we also need a better network of landlords to provide those services in the housing for folks. So the opportunity is certainly there, and we've talked about expanding those doorways as well.
We want to work on that. Their network of landlords. They're not all slumlords, right? They're really into that.
And like Mary said, wraparound services. We're also looking to come in and provide services for these individuals.
That's beautiful.
Being able to provide peer support, personal care services, or community living services. So we are looking to expand and also look at maybe grants that will help us.
Now, where are you located? You have some homes here in Detroit?
Yes, I have a home here in Detroit, and I'm also looking to purchase more homes as well.
And you have one. Where is it located
It's
now?
right off of Jefferson.
Yeah, speaking of that too, I think land bank, we have to talk about the land bank and how we can reform policies to make it easier for people like yourself to purchase properties who want to house individuals at a low income. So that's important too. I know it's very difficult right now accessing properties.
It is.
The land bank holds properties, and to me, we should be doing all we can to get them out of the hands of the land bank and into people who want to address the issue of housing, affordable housing. So that's a big part of what we're going to be looking at doing, as well as reforming those policies and making it easier for people like yourself.
Yes, absolutely. I had a question too about an alert system or some type of emergency system, like for when the Job Corps young people were just like had an emergency and needed somewhere to go. That's what actually started this whole conversation, to see if we can get them over here. As the new mayorship, what can we look forward to as far as responding to emergencies a lot faster?
Well, I think that will be done through the housing department. So right now, from my understanding, in that situation, there were individuals from housing and revitalization that worked with those students to ensure that they were properly housed. And so that did happen. Now, I do think that there is a lot of people working in silos and not enough communication taking place. So I think that's something that we can work on as far as having that coordinated effort to ensure that we're responding rapidly in a way that prevents anyone, being displaced or losing or being without a home.
Right. Because that network, they were ready.
Yeah, they were. You guys were already ready to put them.
And then we talked about putting together some type of YouTube, something to put the word so people would know where to come. But they're,
that's a good point. That's a great
that
point.
network of emergencies to landlords that are not slumlords and have a nonprofit mission. Like they are changing their model to fit the crisis, and that's why they would. Of course, you would like to rent the whole house out at $1,800, but who can afford that?
Yeah.
You know.
So do we have that now, David, like a database or something, like something where it houses all of the entities when an emergency or something happens?
Yeah.
So there's an initiative called Code Blue at the city.
Yeah.
Where there is a mass displacement. The city does lean on a network of landlords and emergency partners to place those individuals so they don't become homeless. We've talked about having kind of expanding that network and making sure that resource is readily available whenever needed. Right now, it's really centered around bad landlords, but again, there are also good landlords that we need to add to that network and make sure that we have people housed and they don't become homeless at all. So
That sounds like a good project.
Can they be added to Code Blue?
Yeah.
You say Code Blue is bad actors or good actors?
It's placing folks from the homes of bad actors,
Okay.
but the network that's attached to that in terms
okay.
of good landlords,
Okay.
we need to build that out more. There's a small network that
Oh,
exists,
okay.
but the city does need to build that out.
Yes, we
Okay.
do. We need something.
So we need to, maybe that's something we can look into building.
Yeah,
I agree. Because
that
there's a
would be
lot of
great.
people like you yourselves that are doing great things that are willing to step up and house and support.
Yeah.
People don't know how to go, where to
don't
go,
know.
who they are.
We were scrambling
Yeah.
around. Like, you
Yeah.
have the beds. What can we
See?
do? And
Yeah.
that's
And
how we ended up
we
here.
just didn't make any connections to bring them here.
Yeah.
We didn't know who to reach out to.
Right. And those are some of the things, those are solutions that we've come up with, right? From the good landlords.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Well, this is great. So we want to open up any other questions that we would have from our audience members and the people that you guys have.
The live audience.
Yes.
The live audience. And Miss Mayberry
getting
back there,
snacks.
she is so beautiful. I love her.
Miss Mayberry.
She's the sweetest.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. She's the sweetest.
Okay.
She's the one that got the Juneteenth flag up in Detroit.
Hello.
That was you, Miss Mayberry.
Yes. Hello. Let me introduce myself. I'm May Mayberry, Vanetta Mayberry. And the thing is, I've been knowing Mary since. Oh, you cannot hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. And so the thing is, being a political activist in the city of Detroit and working with affordable housing and so forth, Mary, I commend her on all the things that she's doing and working, being the president of the city council, and what she's trying to work with the rest of the city council and getting things done so that we can have affordable housing. Since the pandemic had come into play, you know what I'm saying, we knew that we were going to have that kind of problem because a lot of landlords, the rent had to go up because the landlords were, they had took a really bad blow. So Mary has been working diligently trying to help us to get those rent rates down and find us some affordable housing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm working with her wholeheartedly. I've been doing this kind of work since 1995. I worked with Coleman Young and worked with affordable housing. So we did have some houses that can be rehabbed in the city. So this is something that we're going to try most definitely to try to bring the rent rate down as far as making home ownership once again, because the city was the nation.
Yes, it was.
As far as the nation is concerned, we had home ownership, in the city of Detroit. So I am working with Mary to make sure that we get that back on track again. We're going to do that.
Yes.
We're going to work hard and diligently.
Yeah.
And with Mary Sheffield being the mayor, we know it's going to happen. We know this is going to happen.
Thank you, Ms. Mayberry.
Because she comes from a powerful family in the city of Detroit who's always been about the business of saving and making and revitalizing the city of Detroit. The Sheffield family from her grandfather.
Yeah.
I remember her grandfather.
Wow.
I'm not going to tell my age, but I remember her grandfather as well as her father.
Yes, yes.
So we can do it.
Yeah.
All we need is everybody on all hands on deck.
All hands on deck. That's right.
Thank you.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Ms. Mayberry. She's so sweet. Yeah. Well, thank
Anyone
you all
else?
so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
And for you all stepping up and you coming back to Detroit and just jumping right in, diving in to solve the issues of our city, and you all both, just whatever I can do to support, we're here to help. So this is going to be a collaborative effort.
It is.
I'm not going to be able to do it by myself. That's why our
right.
slogan is together we can, together we will. So I'll be leaning on you all to help address a lot of the issues in our city, and I'm here to support you guys too. So
Thank you.
Yeah, keep up the great work.
I'm sorry. I
Oh.
did have a great conversation
Oh.
with David.
Yes.
He gave me some good insight
Good,
and
good.
provided me some good resources. So
Good.
I will be connecting him with my daughter, Christina Jordan, as well, because she's on my team and she's
Okay.
working on some community events as well.
Oh,
so
great.
Thank you.
Great.
Did you have a question?
You have a question?
Yeah, come on in.
Hello.
Hello.
As you all know, I already support Mary, but one of the reasons I support Mary is because I always say she supports the woman I am today, but I really believe in the vision she has for the woman I want to become. So the reason I'm here today is because I am personally interested in residential facilities, assisted facilities. That's where I come from. That's what my family does in Ohio. This is my first year in the city. And one thing I always remember you said was you want to make it easier for local business owners in the city of Detroit to open businesses, to get licenses, and it's one of the hardest cities in America to do that in. So my question for us is, how do you feel in the future you can support us opening those businesses to make it a little bit easier when we do the residential facilities, transitional homes, and group homes?
And again, I mentioned earlier, just fast tracking the entire process. So whether it's zoning, permitting, acquiring properties, oftentimes that could take, 6 months, a year, 2 years. I know people who've been waiting years, to be honest with you, trying to open up housing. Right. And it has to be a streamlined process where, hey, if you are a good actor, you come to the city, you want to open up housing for low-income residents, it should be a streamlined, fast-track process. You know who to talk to. You're not being sent to multiple departments. You talk to him and you're all over the place. It should be an easy one-stop shop, and then as much reduced fines and fees as possible to allow for those entities to be developed in the city. And so we're working on that now. I have a whole initiative called Making It Easier to Do Business in Detroit. And we want to make it easier. So you don't have to go to the suburbs or go to other cities, but it's really easier for Detroit entrepreneurs to set up shop in Detroit. So that's my goal and my vision. And I didn't know that about you. We got support. Yes, that's beautiful.
Right. Laura does not play. It is a very extensive process. So, but thank you for that. So I want to do residential facilities. So I contacted her yesterday about this event, and we start talking, conversing about the opening and the launch. And I said, well, this is right up my alley. This is where I come from. So I'm from Ohio, but my parents own many group homes across Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus. And my parents were like, why are you going to work? And why are you down here working? And this is the family business. So I'm in the process of getting licensed for a residential facility here in Michigan. Yes, so thank you.
Mary, as you know, we have a lot of networks within Detroit. A lot of people like John George, who has been building homes, and he's been doing this, building the city for over 30 years. Yes, we have a lot of people like that. I would love to see a group of people like John George and others mentoring.
The next generation.
Yes, baby. Yes. I've talked to John. He's like, yes, okay. And that's where I'm taking Rhonda to. So I would love to see an open network for people to help within the system, because they've been here for 30 years and they're proven. That's the whole thing. They're not just talking, they're proven.
Yeah.
And that is what we need.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, we have to figure out how we can create some type of program or something that allows for, joint venture or just the ability to train and learn from. That's a great point.
Collaborate and operate in community. We just have not been able to do that. So I think, again, there's so many silos and everyone's doing their own thing that it's just time for us to just work together. We have to. We have to at this stage. So.
Absolutely.
And again, coming from Florida, you see collaboration everywhere. I was a part of a Girl Bosses of St. Pete. We started with 50 women meeting at a coffee shop. It's about 8,000 women, and it started in 2021.
Wow.
That's the power of women coming together with a mission to support one another in our businesses. So to be a part of that, yes, I wanted to come home and recreate that. So that's another thing that I'm doing, is bringing business owners in the holistic space together. But I want to see that in this space where we work with affordable housing.
Affordable housing, okay. Yeah, I definitely, we have one group, you remember Chris Jackson's group, David? It's I can't think, it's a group of African American developers, smaller, Reed. That may be something you all should look into.
It's called Reed.
Is it READ? Yeah.
Reed.
And that's Sonia Mays. She's another affordable housing developer. She's a part of that too, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Sonia Mays, Chris Jack. I mean, there's a lot of kind of smaller entrepreneurs of color who are doing development throughout the city. And they formed a coalition. And they meet once a month, and I mean, they're sharing all types of ideas, exchanging best practices.
Actually, there's an event tonight.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Where they're hosting a social event.
Yep.
The brewery companies.
Who do we contact?
Yep.
Yeah.
They should have a website.
Yeah, I can give you more information.
But I know it's Chris that leads it.
Okay.
But it's
That's
actually,
excellent.
they're good as far as the information that they have.
Yeah, because like Catherine said, I'm just doing this based off of faith and what God told me to come home and do. I don't have anyone to mentor me. Both Stephanie and I are on an online mentorship, but they're in Texas, they're everywhere else. They don't know what's going on here in Detroit. And Detroit's unique. We have unique problems.
Interesting enough about
if you go on their
Detroit.
website, they have a whole, but I can give you Chris Jackson's number actually.
Okay,
He's
the
founder of
one
it.
of the number one segregated cities
Great
in
network.
the country, and so creating a network can
I'm just gonna take a
has
quick
been hard,
picture.
I think, because it's been so segregated. Even the minorities don't live together. So networking. I lived in Georgia for a while, and they're just experts at networking when it comes to making stuff happen. So some of the process of getting stuff done, I think that people skip over. Just give us a better process, right?
For sure. I agree.
That's what just take the time and do a process that we can follow and don't skip over it, because that, I think, is what's getting lost in the sauce, right?
What's the rest of Reed's title? Yeah, because
It's
I'm not.
READ.
READ.
Yeah,
I just
but
put
it's not-
READ Detroit, Real Estate
Detroit.
Association Developers.
Okay.
Yep, Real Estate Association Developers.
There they are. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, there they are. Yep, that's them. Yep. So, well, thank you so much for the
This has been
conversation.
so
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Everybody.
Yes,
showed
thank
up.
y'all for this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this was awesome. So I can close out. Yeah. Okay. So again, this is Dr. Gina Tall here with the Fourth Letter Radio. Mary Sheffield showed up and showed out. We already know the new plan for the new mayor for the city of Detroit. We're on board. Don't forget to vote, and we'll see you in August.